Varnashrama Dharma. Shri Gajanan Prabhu says, Brahmachari, Grahastha and Vanaprastha are the three categories who have the right to practice Karma Yoga. The right to give up all action has been given to only those who have taken Sannyasa ashram as mentioned in most of the scriptures. Adopting and applying the meaning of Aham Brahmasmi is their main duty. Even though they may have taken the body, they live there only as a witness. This is the state of Sannyasa ashram. Such sannyasis are of four types: Kutichak, Bahudak, Hamsa and Paramahamsa. I shall first tell you about the dharma of a Kutichak sannyasi. They are also known as Tridandi, that is Kayak, Vachak and Manasik, that is corporal, vocal and mental are the three dands, punishments, which they assume. Doing all kinds of penance causing punishment to the body comes under Kayak dand. Another characteristic is of shaving off one's head. They have to perform Viraja Homa and others as the first step. Then they perform the essential duties and fulfill them. The next is observing cleanliness and purity. Sannyasis have to follow purity 4 times as mentioned for Grahastha ashrams. After having bath 3 times, morning, afternoon and evening, they have to perform the japa of Omkar, which is the main thing for them. They should sustain the body by begging for food. Just as we take medicine to relieve the body of its diseases, in the same way, when necessary, they should treat their diseases by begging for medicines. There also, they have to follow a certain discipline. If they do not get adequate food after begging at 7 houses, they should remain content with drinking water. After passing stool at any time during the day, they should have a bath. They can remain in a village for only 1 night. If it is a holy place, then they can remain there for 3 days. If it's a place of pilgrimage, they can stay there for 5 days or 7 days. During the full moon of the Ashad month, they should find a big kshetra or pilgrimage center where they can stay for 4 months. In the monsoon season, crops are grown everywhere and stepping on them will harm them. Causing harm of any kind is prohibited for a sannyasi. He should not even entertain any harmful thoughts in his mind. In short, he should live in such a manner that they do not create fear for anybody. This is the main dharma of a sannyasi. They should grow their nails and hair, or else they may shave off the hair on their head once every season or once in 2 months, and that too after emptying the room of its occupants. The reason being that there is life in the nails and hair of the body, even though there is no sensation and they keep growing and increasing. They should not eat at night. In this manner, there are several strict rules a sannyasi has to follow. This is the first bodily dand. The next is Vachik dand, control over speech. I shall tell you its nature. Always maintaining silence is Kaik dand. That silence is of 2 types, Chala and Kashta Mauna. Chala is where one does not speak anything but through symbols. One may communicate what one wants to say through gestures. Kashta Maun is one where one remains like a piece of wood. He should not even communicate his mind through symbols, etc. Every day he should do the Pranava or Omkar Japa 12,000 times. He should regularly read the Upanishads and he should read, think and contemplate on topics of liberation from the scriptures. All this put together is the Vachik dand. Now he talks about the Manasik dand. He should always meditate on the Omkar form of the Supreme Brahma. He should not bring any thought of routine transactional matters into his mind. If different thoughts come to his mind, he should strictly extricate himself from each one of them. If he finds it difficult to do so, then he should practice pranayam and thereby bring his mind under control. This is Manasik dand. A sannyasi is required to necessarily follow all these 3 types of dand. His journey following these 3 types of dand is the first state, which is known as Kutichak. Significance of the Kutichak stage. Kuti is the body consisting of the gross, subtle and causal and the greater causal bodies. The main characteristic of the Kutichak state is in knowing the mysteries of the karmas taking place in the body based on the four states. One tries to achieve them by remaining in those states as a witness through discrimination. The four types of states have the capacity of dealing only due to the support of the Brahma's reflection. We can compare that reflection to milk. Though always separate, milk and water appear to be similar in nature due to delusion. Therein rises the illusion of Deha and Dehi. Therefore, keeping the connection of the Atman's reflection, taking out the reflection in the form of milk from the waters of the body, casting aside the pride of the fourfold types of Dehi, maintaining detachedness, and witnessing nature in the body. These are the characteristics of a Kutichak sannyasi. A Kutichak sannyasi who accomplishes all this becomes the master of knowledge. They are his tools. They are the Hamsa karma. When milk and water are mixed and placed before the Hamsa or the swan, it is able to extract the milk out of the mixture and drink only milk. In the same way, a Kutichak sannyasi separates the reflection of the Atman from the waters of the body and savors it. That is, with connection to the witness state, he remains untouched by the karmas of the body. How does a sadhak who is steadfast in Jnana Yoga live, and where and how does his life lead him? And after realizing, how does he carry on with the things that happen in relation to his life, to his body? Out of the four types of ashrams, the significance of sannyasa ashram is indicated here. The question may be whether steadfastness in Jnana Yoga has to be observed only by the sannyasis or whether karma yogis should also follow it. Those in the grihastha ashram can also follow Jnana Yoga. There is a certain importance attached to the ashram of a sannyasi among those who practice Jnana Yoga with steadfastness. A sannyasi is also referred to as Hamsa. The reason, as indicated above, is that casting aside all pride of the body and remaining only as a witness is the Hamsa karma, which is indicated here. A person who has adopted sannyasa ashrama cannot even for a moment hold any mental fantasies of the company of a woman. If he does so, he will suffer the sins of having killed 1,000 cows, as has been mentioned in the Shastras. Similarly, he should also not have any attachment for grains or other things. If a sannyasi is caught holding even a chowri full of grains, then as per the Shastras, he will have to spend 10,000 years in hell. Therefore, the greatest secret of a sannyasi's life is to completely give up any thought of grains and women. This has been referred to very briefly in a concomitant way. Doing what the Tridand sadhus do by observing their swadharma, for gaining by love alone, is natural for a Kutichak. His disinterested intellect has been molded so much that whatever karma happens through his body happens only as karma. Since the body, speech, mind and intellect are naturally inclined towards karma, they keep happening spontaneously. Apart from being a witness, nothing that is done there affects me in any way. The jnani becomes a Kutichak sannyasi, doing what his body is required to do according to destiny and fulfilling his duties according to the ashram he has adopted. He is considered a man of principles in doing that. A man who follows principles is a complete jnani or intellectual and devoid of the bondage of karma. Sri Gargya Maharshi says in his commentary, among the sadhaks who are steadfast in Jnana Yoga, the most important is the sannyasi. Kutichak, Bahudak, Hamsa and Paramahamsa are the four types of sannyasis. Their steadfastness is mentioned as Asan Sakti in the Yoga Vasishta and is considered the fifth role of Jnana. I shall first tell you the dharma of a Kutichak. The sadhak who first investigates the house of the body is Kutichak. The cleansing is like this. The Brahma who is in the form of reflection in the waters of the body is a milk which through discrimination of connection to the witness state is absorbed as actualization. The Kutichak has to follow the three dand karmas, after accomplishing which he becomes a jnani. Even after that, he keeps doing karmas as per his self-will. These karmas are basically for the benefit of the public, even though they happen as per his desire. This is what is indicated in the words Kamankur Viyogena Karmani Aravet. In this manner, everything happens according to the principle of karma. Then, where is the question of my connection? Such a person is called Jnani Purush by other conscious Jnanis as well. He begins the next verse. Phalatrishnam vihaya syat sada tripto visadhanaha udgrit kopi kriyam kartum kinchit naivat karoti saha. Shri Gajanan Prabhu says to King Varanya, now listen about the characteristic of a Bahudak ashram sannyasi. Bahudak sannyasi follows only two dands. The first is Vachik dand or speech restraint, and the second is Manasik dand or mental control. After having attained the state of Kutichak, the body does not remain conscious, but the body has intelligence of its own and behaves accordingly. Whatever it does is the rule, and whatsoever it does not do is prohibited. The other two dands have to be followed. Cleansing of the body takes place through Kutichak ashram, while the cleansing of the Atman takes place through the Bahudak ashram. Here the origin of the witness state, namely Sohamkar, is given up. Taking the analogy of water and milk, water is assumed to be the form of the witness state, where reflection is milk. Due to the enchantments of Maya, that which is not different from Sohamkar is separated. That is, the difference is separated. The milk is in the reflection is drunk, giving up the Sohamkar. This is the Hamsa karma in this ashram. This is the secret of Bahudak. Even though the reflection is vast, the removal of reflection means forgetting the consciousness of being a witness, which is the characteristic of a Bahudak. After attaining Siddhi in this manner, the Bahudak sannyasi who follows the two dand karma of his own will is not touched by any sins whatsoever. Therefore, such a sannyasi who lives in a detached way is always satisfied and content. Since he has no desire to enjoy the fruits of any action, he does karmas according to his swadharma. And even though he does karmas or not, it amounts to him not doing anything. This is his state of living. In this manner, a Bahudak sannyasi who does the two dands and does his swadharma karma is not subjected to any covering. The difference between a Kutichak and Bahudak sannyasi is that the witness in him is not limited to the sensation of his body, but instead he is connected to the Atman present in everyone. In a huge water body, the water is the same everywhere, and people can drink it from any side. Due to the absence of any restriction, there is no harm done. In the same way, when our witness state is set aside, and through connection to Sohamkar, we can sense a connection to the Atman in all, and experience everyone as Atman, we enter the state of a Bahudak sannyasi. The witness in him is not limited to his body. Instead, the Atman present in everyone is experienced by him as one, and he is present in that state. Therefore, the witness restricted to an individual Atman does not remain in him. He is not merely a Kayik dand, but he has the actualization of Sohamkar. Therefore, he is required to follow both the Vachik dand and the Manasik dand. Niriho nigrahitatma parityakta parigraha kevalam vaigraham karma charantnayati patakam. Shri Gajanan Prabhu says, now listen to the dand of the Hamsa Dharma. This he expresses in verse 27. Hamsa Dharma Sannyasi, after giving up Sohamkar, the sannyasi becomes the bearer of Hamsa Dharma. In this position, he is free from Deha Dand and Dand of speech, that is Vachik Dand. He is now left only with Manasik Dand. Keeping the connection to the Atman and through breathing practice, he keeps his mind pure. This is all the karma that he is required to do. After attaining psychic powers through the practice of Kutichak and Bahudak Sannyasa Danda, he attains the dharma of Hamsa Sannyas. Among the sensations of the body, which is Tvampada, the feeling of Sohamkar is only one that is absolute or total. Therefore, it becomes Tatpada. In that case, the nature of Hamsa Dharma is of Asipada. In both cases, the consciousness of the presence of Vasana is there. The dual nature of Maya is water, and the reflection on which it is dependent is milk. Therefore, with the awareness of its dual nature and giving up that what remains is only the consciousness of the Atman. This is Hamsa Karma. In this manner, one experiences the congregation of intelligence in the Hamsa spiritual practice. Destiny-driven actions of the body do not yield any sentiments. Hence, one who has no consciousness of the body, which is devoid of any desire. With the practice of meditative union, all sensations of the body get depleted. Therefore, he becomes a resolute Atman. There is no taste for any variety in experience. He gives up all associations. Whatever he gets out of destiny is what sustains his body. Ganesha resides in the Atman within the body due to his desire to experience the play of the world. Hence, it is necessary to nurture it. This sole intention, the Hamsa Dharmadhari Sannyasi keeps doing Swadharma Karma of mental dand. However, that does not leave any layer of residue in him. Even if he does karma according to the mental dand, still no sin affects him. In brief, karma is not seen in the Jnani Purush who is firmly established in his jnana. Neither is there any place for the doer or surrender. After describing the characteristics of the sannyasi who has adopted the Hamsa Dharmakar ashrama, Sri Gajanan Prabhu proceeds to explain the nature of Paramahamsa in the next verse. Verse number 28. Advandho matsaro bhutva siddho samaschaya yatha praptiha santushta kurvan karmana badhyate. A Paramahamsa sannyasi would have given up all the three dands, namely Kaik, Vachik and Manasik, by which the bodily Atma gets separated. All ego or pride of the body gets completely depleted, and he is steeped in a sense of non-differentiation and has no sentiments remaining. Hence, there is no place for duality in the Hamsa Karma, which means that dualities like milk and water do not exist. That is why he is called Paramahamsa, where no rules or prohibitions exist. He assumes connection only with the Atman. Just as duality no longer remains, so also there is neither any hatred nor malice for anything or anyone. Since such a person is forever in the consciousness of the absolute Atman, residing within as Ganesha, he has no taste for anything else. He is no longer concerned whether he attains psychic powers or not. Everything is equanimous for him. Whatever comes before him, he accepts them as they are and allows them to be. He experiences contentment as he is wherever he is. If he does not get something for some reason, he makes no effort. He makes effort only for food, or else he lives like an alligator or remains on fast. This way of living becomes his swadharma. There is no bondage whatsoever for him. In this manner, in all these four ashrams of a sannyasi, there is no deed, doer and surrender. Intellectually, the consciousness of Aham Brahmasmi is there. Such steadfastness of knowledge is always present. But one or the other kind of Varnashrama Dharma does exist. A yogi who has even gone beyond, that is a Purna Yoga Dhari or a Purna Yogi, is a self-willed Avadut. He does not believe in the distinction of castes. That is, only the absolute peace of Tattvamasi abides in him. In verse 29, Shri Gajanan Prabhu describes such an Avadut yogi. Akhile Vishayor Mukto Jnana Vijnanavanapi Yajnartatasya Sakalam Krutam Karma Viliyate. Shri Gajanan Prabhu says, with a determined practice of harmonious connection to Brahma, the stage of Paramahamsa also dissolves and automatically goes away. He should be called a Hamsa. After that, even the natural disposition of Jnana Danda falls away. Then he is called an Adandi. The Hamsa karma that was seen in the Paramahamsa ashrama too does not remain. No separate Hamsa karma can be found in the Paramahamsa karma of such a yogi. If any duality was noticed in the Hamsa karma in any of the previous 3 sannyasa ashram, they are not seen in the Paramahamsa sannyas. Still, the consciousness of Aham Brahmasmi, like that of the selection of milk from water, remains. Here, the objective of Asipada has to be considered water, and without any object, Asipada is considered the absolute knowledge, which is milk. Then, choosing accordingly, the milk from water is the Hamsa karma of the Paramahamsa sannyasi. While doing that, Jnana Danda is also definitely necessary, because giving up the object Asipada means leaving aside the enchantment for solitude as well. This is not possible without a natural disposition towards Jnana Danda. Sri Gargya Maharshi writes, here there is no awareness of reflection and the reflected. Therefore, he is non-dual. There is no taste for superiority or inferiority, nor is there pride. What is the meaning of existence or non-existence, of reflection and reflected? Since they have complete consciousness of Aham Brahmasmi, they have no worry about its existence or its loss. They are satisfied and content with whatever happens or whatever they may be getting into according to their destiny. This becomes their nature. Adandi. In such a situation, whatever karma happens in the following of one's dharma is not binding on him. This state of a Paramahamsa, bearing the Jnana Danda, does not occur in the state of a Mahahamsa. Therefore, he is called Adandi. The absolute peace that comes with consciousness of Aham Brahmasmi is the Siddhi of Purna Yoga. There, even reflection and reflected, Jnana and Jnani do not exist. So there is no Danda to be followed. That alone is Purna Yoga Sannyas, and the one who follows it is Adandi. He is beyond Varnashrama Dharma. For such a person, there is no restriction or prohibition. He behaves according to what occurs in his mind at that moment. From where does this absence of rules come to such a person? The mysterious knowledge about this is elucidated here. There is nothing remaining to be attained for him, nor is there any fear of bondage from any actions. Therefore, for him there is no such thing as to what is to be done or not to be done. The Shastras do not make such regulations for him. Therefore, he is above being prohibited from action. Since such a yogi is filled with non-differentiation, he does not have any separate feelings for the world and for Brahma. He neither has any taste nor any reservation for anything. It does not occur internally within him as well. The yogi who has attained oneness with the divine is said to be a jnani. A person who is established in it is a scientist. When there is an intertwining of a jnani and a vijnani, everything he does becomes a yajna, an offering. Such a person who has become totally detached goes on living according to his preordained destiny. His reflection as a witness is liberated. Hence, any action done by him as per his destiny becomes a yajna. The question next that arose in King Varenya's mind was why it should be called a yajna. Aham agnir havir hota hotam yanmai charpitam brahmaptavyam tenata brahmanyeva yatorataha. Shri Gargya Maharshi says, by giving up reflection and reflected, the yogi has attained peace. The reflection as a response is indicative of a liberated being. A human body is necessary to do auspicious and inauspicious deeds. Avoiding those actions that are expressly prohibited, hunger, thirst and other changes are created naturally, and karma has to be done to fulfill them. The ego no longer exists there. Hence, the actions that take place are considered as yajna. Karmas done for the nourishment of the Supreme Being present within as a reflection is worship itself. There is an example about this in the Kaushiki Upanishad. When Maya was created, a body endowed with Jiva Bhava was also created as a form of reflection. Due to illusory knowledge, the egoistic Jiva keeps doing all kinds of auspicious and inauspicious actions and enjoys the fruits thereof. But he is liberated with the knowledge of the Atman and the siddhis earned through spiritual practices. The particle of Supreme Brahma continues to experience the balanced destiny. The journey of the body goes on according to preordained destiny, and accordingly good and bad deeds keep happening. That is considered the worship of the Supreme. Hence, it is considered a yajna. The journey of life performs the remaining destiny. Karmas take place accordingly. Since there is no place for attainment or non-attainment, there is no possibility of going against the rules of Varnashrama karmas. Whatever happens is according to one's destiny. By doing that, it pleases the Supreme Being and therefore he becomes a yajna. When the body dies, all those karmas become non-existent. This is what is meant by the verse Yajnartha tasya sakalam krutam karma viliyate. The four types of sannyasis who are established in Jnana Yoga perform actions according to their preordained destiny, which becomes a yajna. The nature of those yajnas is described in the following verses, which we shall see in the next audio.